listening to Cowboy Logic with Jason Forby, a message of grace and hope.
Is everybody good? If you don't have access to power, what's the point? If the gospel that we believe in doesn't have power to back it, then we might as well just go on down to the KFC or... Is everybody good? We've done seen too much, so having authority is a big deal. It produces results. But I also don't want to just say it's just authority, because Barney Fife has authority. But he also only has one bullet, and he's shaking so bad he can't even get it in the gun, you know. And I think that's what most of the churches look like. Oh, yeah, we'll sing a song, we have authority. Oh, the devil's coming around again. You know, oh, yeah, you got authority, but you got no power backing it up. And so it's not just enough to have some authority. It's to know you have authority and know that we get to operate in grace and the power of love. And that means that we get to operate in the capabilities that are more than just ours. Grace, to me, one of my favorite definitions is operating in God's capabilities instead of our own. And so I just think, man, authority's good, but I think we ought to have some power. And I don't know all of the equations and the formulas to just access to power and to walk in it all the time. But I think the more we talk about it, the more it gets stirred up in us. And I think if we're going to see any of it, we at least got to start talking about it. So we got a little group. Some of my best friends, one of my favorite sisters lives in Texas now, and she leads a little group, and they're always listening to the thing, young mothers or something like that, and it's growing like crazy. They're going to have, let's just everybody say, hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. We believe in them. We love them, and so they're having a big old baptism tomorrow. And so they had some questions, and they wanted me to do a Zoom. They wanted to meet me and, you know, like I'm some famous guy or something. But we did Zoom last night, and I had them all on there and big crew, and they're getting baptized them all and all this stuff. If they wanted to ask questions or any of this stuff, and so they had some good questions on there. And one of the girls even got healed while we were having the meeting. Like she had her name was Jillian. I forget what she did exactly. Her ankle was messed up real bad, torn, she thought it was. That's like pain level was 10 out of 10. And so right on the thing, we just said, yeah, we're not having that. Let me show you how easy it is to get somebody healed. I just said, ankle, be healed. Pain, get out. That was it. 4 words. 5 words. Ankle, be healed. Pain, go. Right? And she just immediately starts crying and laughing. It's like, what in the world? Oh my gosh. Completely healed. Right then. She couldn't walk. She couldn't even put any weight on it. What? She's walking around with no crutches and everything. And so Connie messed up the meeting. So it's just good. So then we got to talk about that. And it's like, if you don't have power to go along with what it is, then, you know, then you're just talking. And so one of the questions was, some of them in school, like my little buddy Caden on there, he asked a good question. He said, go to these schools, you know, if you guys kids are in college or whatever, you go out there and all this mess, there's a lot of stuff out there. And he's like, a lot of people that don't even believe in God or just mock God or whatever else, you know, what do you do with that? How do you talk to those people or whatever? And so there's lots of different scenarios, and always be led, you know, whatever situation. But I said, I think the biggest thing that we're missing is walking in power. Because somebody can say there's no God all they want to, but when you walk up and somebody who's crippled gets up and walks, argument's over. Right? When you see people one way, and immediately when somebody shows up that knows that they have authority and walks in power and things change right before people's eyes, guess what? Argument's over. There's no more atheists. You can say you don't want to believe, that's fine. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to live in it, but you're no longer going to be in the place where you can just deny its existence. You got what I'm saying. And so I'm just praying that there's a generation that rises up that's not afraid to walk in power. And we ain't just gathered up having church singing songs, but people come into our presence and they leave different. We say this stuff over ourselves all the time. It's like we're declaring this stuff. Everybody that bumps into us in life receiving peace in their minds, that's a big deal. You know, a lot of people need peace in their minds. Not just for them and God. They think God's mad at them and He's holding all their sins against them and they're guilty and condemned and all that. Well, that's not peace. That alone will cause all kinds of chaos. Joy in their hearts and healing in their bodies. I believe it's the gospel. It didn't just come so you could pray a prayer and go to heaven someday. It's a full deal. It's like you're a 3-part person. Salvation isn't just for one part. Salvation isn't just for after you die. Peace for my mind, joy for my heart, and healing for my body. Have I got the right bunch? I just want to talk about miracles and talk about power, and just by talking about it and stirring it up, I think it just gets stirred up in us. And the more you talk about it, the more you're going to see it. And I saw this thing, Revelation 10. I better give you one scripture at least. You'll say we didn't even use the Bible. You guys know this one, Revelation 19:10. Revelation 19:10. This is where John come face to face with an angel, right? And John's like overwhelmed by the presence of an angel. He bows down to worship the angel, and the angel says, "Hey, man, get up. Don't be worshiping me. We worship God." And then he tells him this. The testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. The testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. Now, I know that sounds like all kind of biblical sounding, and what in the world does that even mean? Let me put it in simple cowboy terms. The testimony of Jesus, that's the telling of what he's doing or has done. The telling of what he's accomplished, what he's doing, right? The testimony of Jesus is the spirit. What does that word mean there? Power. The testimony of Jesus is the spirit, is the power. It's the spirit of prophecy. Now, what's prophecy? Foretelling what's about to happen. Prophecy is telling what's fixing to happen. It's telling the future, right? So the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. It means by telling what he's done, by you hearing things that he has accomplished, hearing that provides its own power to produce that again in the future. You got it? So by hearing certain things, hearing produces power to reproduce what it is that he did. Come on, you guys follow me? So I say there's power in hearing. I think about, the woman with the issue of blood. Remember the woman with the issue of blood? And she had an issue for like 12 years. No doctors could help her. Spent all her money. She was like a lost cause, right? Everybody give up on her. She couldn't even be around people because she was bleeding and all of the cultural law stuff that was going on. She was lowest of the low, right? But it says this. Just read over it. You might miss this part, but it says, after hearing about Jesus, she says within herself. And like the language is, she keeps saying it to herself. She keeps repeating it. She keeps going over and over inside of herself. After hearing something, there's power produced. And she says, if I just touch the hem of his garment. Now, I wonder why she said that. Where did she get that? It had to be tied, this is just my own opinion, had to be tied to what it is that she heard. She must have heard about somebody else. We didn't get the accounts of the testimonies that she heard, but she must have heard that somebody touched the hem of his garment and they got healed. Because after hearing about Jesus, she says within herself, if I just touch the hem of his garment, I'll be made well. If I just touch the hem of his garment, I'll be made well, right? So hearing something produced power within her. She got up from where she was in her hopelessness, pushed through the crowd, touched his garment, gets healed, and Jesus says, hey, your faith is what did that. Her faith came about because of something that she heard. Testimony of Jesus. And so I say, it's kind of like the 4-minute mile, right? 4-minute mile for a long time, everybody says it's impossible to run a 4-minute mile, right? And then somebody did it. And then after one person did it, now people just started doing it. Why? Because it became possible in their imagination. By hearing that someone's done it, gave people power to produce that thing over and over again. You got it? So I just thought, man, I want to talk about this girl, Jillian's ankle getting completely healed. We remember Emma's leg getting healed. Took her a couple days, right? I'm just thinking back over all these miracles that we've seen and stuff. Amanda told about this just recently. She's got a friend that we prayed for. She's 45 years old. Went 30 years not able to have children. Couldn't get pregnant. 30 years couldn't be pregnant. Gets bit by a spider and dies. There's so many miracles in this deal. This should be its own Bible story. Gets bit by a spider and codes. She's dead for I don't know how long. And then they revive her and bring her back to life. And then somehow she miraculously can get pregnant. So she's pregnant. Is at 45 years old and pregnant, and it's kind of high risk. You know how all that goes. She's past the normal thing. And so what happens? She has a baby. It's a little bit early. Everybody's fine. Home, doing good. Like, how many miracles is in one story, right? I mean, can't have a baby at all and then has a baby, but not just has a baby, after having a deadly spider bite, dies and gets brought back to life. And then, I don't know, did the spider do something? Spider-Man movie? I don't know. Here's what we're saying. There's miracles everywhere, and we don't need to forget them. We need to keep telling them. It's like we got miracles all over the place. I remember Denny. We were having healing school up there at High Point, and so we were just teaching about healing and getting people healed and all. This is a good time. And so there was a lady there. I don't even remember the lady or know who the lady was, but she started laying hands on people, and she says her back, whatever, I forget all the details now. So Denny's sitting like 4 or 5 rows behind this lady. And this lady, her back gets healed, right? We laid hands on her. Her back gets healed. I forget what all the issue was with her, whatever. But anyway, we never even laid hands on Denny. And Denny had had a back thing since he was a young man, shoeing horse, hurting, crippled, couldn't pick stuff up out of the truck and all that. He got healed when we didn't even know about his deal. We didn't even lay hands on him or pray for him. He got healed when we prayed for the other lady. And so then it was a big deal. Like, he could lift stuff now and he could do things he hadn't done in how many years? Long time. So then, like, the next week on Thursday night, we were telling it over there at the sale barn. We told this whole story. Denny's back got healed. And the testimony of Jesus is the power of prophecy, is the spirit of prophecy, right? So that night there was somebody there who'd been in a car wreck, and their back, when we told about Denny's back, that guy's back got healed. And he never had been there before. Never been there since. But his back got healed. And so it's like, man, then the next week we told about, so here's what happened. This is testimony of Jesus' spirit of prophecy. We told about Denny's back getting healed. And when we told about Denny's back getting healed, his back got healed. And then we told about that the next week, then somebody else's back got healed. I'm like, my dad's back got healed. It's like, we've seen so many backs get healed now. If you just drive by on 37 and get close to our place, your back getting healed. You got what I'm saying? The testimony of Jesus. The more you see it, the more it's possible in your heart. And the more you can believe that, and the more visualize it, the more you see that it's possible, it becomes normal. And we've seen some crazy stuff. This younger bunch, they're going to do way more than we, because it's more possible to them than it was for us. We had to overcome a lot before we even get over our religiousness and all that stuff. But they're coming up in this stuff. Emma lays hands on people and migraines leave and all kinds of awesome stuff. It's like the more you see it, the more it starts happening. And one of Rachel's best friends, that she had a bad diagnosis and had a thing on her, I don't know, whatever that stuff is. You could see it. She doesn't even go where we go and she doesn't hear all that we get to hear, but she has seen enough. And so she shows up. She comes Thursday night after church is over. She don't even come to hear the great sermon. Shows up afterwards and gather around and prayed for her. Rachel put her hand right on that thing and it dissolved underneath her hand. Gone. Never show up again or any of that stuff. It's just like, man, over and over. I've seen, what's the one? Is it Parkinson's where they shake real bad? I've seen an old man immediately stop shaking, be healed. I've seen a man with Lou Gehrig's disease. There's no cure for that. Couldn't even get out of his chair. His body hurt so bad that it hurt when he blinked. That's how much pain he was in. We went down there and laid hands on him, took communion, and he jumped up out of the chair. He was in his 80s, I think, at the time, and he went back to breaking horses. Yeah, what's possible? I'm just saying, let's not quit talking about it. Let's keep talking about it. Let's keep stirring it up. Let's keep being hungry to see more. And because the more we hear about it, the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. There's lots of miracles in here. I don't know. I remember Stacy got his back healed. That's about in the same time frame. Backs were just crazy. He didn't even know. He was in so much pain, been for a long time. He's a nurse out there and has to lift people and heavy, and hurt his back and was in so much pain, couldn't hardly function anymore. And he doesn't even know. Judy calls me one day. He's in real bad pain. He's trying to take a hot bath and get some relief or something. Judy calls me. I'm at work. I'm in a tractor. And we started praying for him, and I don't know, it was an experience. That's a story for another day, but he gets healed right then. While we're praying, he doesn't even know we're praying. He gets out of the bath, he's messed up. Come running around the house. I don't know if he put a towel on or not, Judy, but I'm just saying, we got to talk about this stuff and remember it. As people's backs get healed like crazy. We've seen, hey, Miss Mary, I didn't ask her if I could tell this. Hopefully I can tell this. We believe around here that as it is in heaven. Jesus said, pray like this. The will of God be done on earth as it is in heaven. The will of God's not a mystery. Is it the will of God for us to be healthy? Are we going to be healthy in heaven? Come on, are we going to be wearing eyeglasses in heaven? Now, don't be condemned if we're wearing eyeglasses. We haven't heard this. We got to start hearing it. Somebody has to run the 4-minute mile first. And so Miss Mary, she's like, yeah, I'm believing for that, right? And then she gets up, puts her glasses on to read, and she can't. Oh, no, she didn't put her glasses on and she could read it. And then she was reading for a little while before she realized, what in the world? I didn't have my glasses on. So she's like, her eyes are getting healed. You know, that's not normal, but we're believing for that. Is there eyeglasses in heaven? I don't think we're supposed to be wearing eyeglasses now. I'm just saying there's access to more than we've been told. And if we'll start believing in that and start hearing about that and going for that, and if you even just get a little bit of victory or a little bit of momentum, let's talk about it. Let's go for it. Let's expect it. Norma's talking about hearing aids. I know there's people in here that are tired of not being able to hear or have our hearing aids, all this stuff. Well, we ought not to have to put up with that. You ought to be able to hear what I got to say. Huh? Well, what's impossible? Jesus said it like this: nothing is impossible for him who believes. Well, let's be believers. You want to? Let's be believers. We don't have the experience, we can find the experience. If we haven't had the experience ourselves, we can look at the life of Jesus. Jesus said, the same things I do, you'll do. Raise the dead, cast out devils, cleanse the lepers. I don't know any lepers, but you know what I'm saying. It's just like nonchalant. Go down yonder, heal the sick. Tell them the kingdom's here. Well, I'm just telling you, if we would start walking in power and living this kind of life, expecting the more we get than see and more momentum happens, you know what? Debates are over. Religion and even religious Christianity stands on a corner with a sign yelling, shouting at people, telling everybody they're going to hell. Well, how about you sit your religious self down and find out who you really are and what you really got and what God's really like, and lay hands on somebody and get them healed and love on them. I'm just saying, all I'm doing today is creating a hunger and a question and something for us to pray to say, we want that and we need that and we want to walk in it and live in it and we want to see miracles, and we're going to talk about miracles. And they can say, oh, well, that was only for the disciples. Well, I got news for you. Jesus told the disciples right before he left, go teach everybody else everything that I've taught you. He didn't say, well, except this certain things now, that's only for you guys. It ain't in there. Everything that they had access to, we have access to. Everything that he had access to, we have access to. We just need to start believing it. If we don't see it yet, just keep believing it. If we don't see it yet, just keep believing it. Just keep going for it. We've seen so much. I mean, it's too late. I'm not going back. You know, where we grew up, I didn't ever see miracles or even see anybody healed, or didn't even believe enough to even go for it. I'm just saying, let's go for it. Let's believe for it. You want to? The testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. We've got so many testimonies. We've seen people that were diabetic are no longer diabetic. I'm going for all of it. We've seen tumors. I mean, our little buddy Reese May, she's been with us at Goreville. You know, they gave her less than 6 months to live. She was in high school. They said she'll never graduate. They had an inoperable tumor on her brain stem. Nothing we can do. Go home. You're done. 6 months or less. Oops. Just recently got married. Graduated high school. Me and Emma went right to her house, took communion. Said, no, there's another report. That thing's gone. And that's been, 2 or 3 years ago now. Completely healed. Tumors completely disappeared. I'm not talking about surgery, all that. If you do it that way, fine. Doctors, whatever way you see fit, fine. I'm just telling you, the best way is for the power of God to show up through believers and that thing dissolve and be gone because somebody said so. They don't just have authority, they have the power to back up that authority. And when you make an arrest, by golly, things move and things... Is everybody all right? I just think everybody ought to live healthy and experience heaven now. I think if people experienced heaven now, they would be more open to having a relationship with God. And I'm going to tell you what everybody needs, a relationship with God. Everybody needs to know the unconditional love of God. If you do have a problem, it's this, that you have not yet realized the fullness of the unconditional love that God has for you. We haven't exhausted it. I believe there's more, and we've only scratched the surface. I want more and more of it. It's the goodness of God that leads man to change. My little buddies on the meeting last night, I'm sure they were blessed by whatever all I had to say, but you know what touched them the most? A girl that couldn't walk, walked. That's what I want to see. And the more we understand love, the more it will drive us to get people out of pain and get people out of sickness and all of that. So if you're here or you're listening in and you need something, let's get it. You want to? We've heard plenty of testimony. Is there anything that's not possible for God to do? Is there any ailment that anybody in here can come up with that can't be touched and moved right now? All right. I think everybody that bumps into us or listens on thing, we got groups here, everybody that does our podcast, all that. We love y'all, and we just think you all to be healed. It's the will of God for us to be healed. It's the will of God for us to experience miracles and power and to have a gospel that's different than any other gospel that's not even a gospel. Got it? Is everybody good? All right, so I'm just thinking the power of God's fixing to unleash on people, and people get healed and blessed. And Miss Linda's not here with us this morning, but let's get it for her too. You want to? All right. Have I got the right bunch? Let's ask and pray. This is our prayer, that same thing that welled up into the woman with the issue of blood after hearing something, that same faith, that same power is what we have access to. We've heard about so much, so let's get it, right? Depression, get out. Doesn't have to be physical healing, even though I like that. That's what gets people, but whatever. Mental issues, whatever. Any of it. Physical, mental, relational, whatever. It's not in heaven. Let's not put up with it now. We have power and we have authority. Say, we know what's ours, now we're taking it. And we're going to live in it. We're going to grow in it. We're going to see more and more, and we're going to get momentum, and we're going to carry this thing to the world and see people healed and set free and delivered and experience peace in their minds and joy in their hearts and healing in their bodies, so that they might experience the goodness of God and there find the power for change.
Please follow and share this message. And for more information, visit srcowboychurch.com.